This is Amisfield Vineyard, under the Amisfield Wine Company name, I would say is more appropriate. We produce the grapes here. There's 77 hectares. That includes a hectare or so of olives. It's 80% Pinot Noir, some Sauvignon Blanc, Pinot Gris and Riesling. And all of it's doing pretty well. We're right up there with the best in the world, if I may say. So the vines are on average 4 or 5 years old, and those that are producing now, the Pinot Noir and some of the Pinot Gris, are you could say in their prime. We work on approximately 5.5 tons a hectare. When you go for higher yields, you don't get the quality that we do, or you wouldn't get it anyway. And lower than that, of course, you have economic problems. So we bring it down to 5.5, and we try and keep it up there. To keep investors happy, I've got to keep track of costs, and 3/4 of our costs is labour. So our crew of between 30 and 40. We've got our crew on the ground that do the canopy work, the very important canopy work. That's the majority of them. And there are 2 supervisors that look after them. Everybody does their job. My wife does a lot of the information, collecting wage data, costs.
Tell me about production and how good the production's been lately.
Central Otago at 45 degrees south is not an easy place to grow vines. We have this extreme cold. We have problems with frost, and we have problems with fruit set. So to get the 5.5 tons per hectare that we want is not all that easy every year. Some years we don't quite make that, but we seem to be on a good footing with our fertigation management, irrigation, and which sets the plants up in the following year for a good fruit set. We're hoping for 350 tons this year.
We talked briefly before about the frosts, and tell me how you deal with that.
Frosts we control the frosts with windmills and, if need be, helicopters. We've got 12 windmills. They're all auto start. They work on the principle of bringing down the inversion layer, which is about 100 feet or so above the ground. You hope that inversion layer is there, because that's the warm air you bring down, mix with the cold air at the bottom. They normally work pretty well. But you as a manager have got to predict that and get those helicopters in. If you don't, you've got a bit of a problem on your hands, because you can pretty much lose your crop overnight. The soils have a very low CEC, cation exchange capacity. That means they don't hold their nutrients very well. They're very delicate. You've got to manage the soils pretty well. We do that with gentle fertigation. We target what we need. We try not to cultivate the soil. We have a cover crop either planted with grass, or we let the natural grass grow and we mow that and try and keep that organic material on the surface of the soil. We've tried to plant natives, tussocks down there. We have a fair amount of tussocks in front of the winery. We've got things like ribbonwood, kanuka, manuka. There must be a variety of about 6 or 7 natives that grow in the area, and the plan is to do more of that. All the wastewater from the winery is pumped up. It goes into settling tanks and through into the wetlands, which are planted with reed type plants, the reeds being hollow, and they can take oxygen down into the water, and they break down the chemicals. The water comes out clean, all done by nature. Trees are carbon sequesters. We've planted probably more than 1,000 trees in the form of shelter belts, mostly poplars, Chinese poplar. I think it adds to the environment, makes for a prettier picture. Our irrigation water, which is vitally essential here in Central Otago, you couldn't produce grapes without it, comes from the Clutha River, and we're part of a scheme, the Pisa irrigation scheme, probably one of the most efficient forms of irrigating in water saving. We've built up a relationship with Thai workers, and they're a delight to have around. They fit in very well with the local community. They've always got lovely smiles on their faces. Our winemaker Jeff is converting these grapes into wine which is being recognized by the best in the world. If I may mention Wine Spectator, we're in there right up with the best. He's doing a very fine job down there in our state-of-the-art winery. My family have been in it for probably generations, so I could slot in pretty happily here into central Otago with this beautiful hot, dry summer and very cold winter. Not quite the same in Cape Town, but a similar situation, and we love it here.